Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Discord server. Sometimes ago, I promised my friend Heather that I would read and finish this book called Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Then I was busy with work, then I kind of got some free time, and then I started watching TV shows, listening to audiobooks, and doing other stuff because I was reading this book along with that. But the book kind of felt a bit slow to me. And since the book was a bit slow, I decided to take it slow. And then eventually it became so slow that it almost just, disappeared from the radar. But now it's back. And I don't know if Heather is going to hear this recording. I have no idea. But if she does, Heather, here is just, a one, paragraph from the book that I want to read for you and others as well, which really, got my excitement going because I'm on around page 120 because I'm actually farther ahead. I am on page number 176 right now, but I'm coming back to page number 122, I suppose. Or let me just read this entire mini chapter. So this is the first time that this book kind of intrigued me, and I really wanted to record this because this was great, especially the last few lines, the last paragraph got me really excited. So here is a read from Stephen King's Fairy Tale. The time passed. Mr. Bowditch continued to curse and sometimes scream during his therapy sessions, upsetting Radar so much that Melissa had to make her go outside before the day's PT started. The flexes hurt plenty. But by May, Mr. Bowditch was getting 18 degrees of bend in his knee, and by June he was almost up to 50. Melissa started to teach him how to crutch his way upstairs, and more importantly, how to descend without making a disastrous tumble. So I moved his oxy pills up to the third floor. I stored them in a dusty old birdhouse with a carved crow on top that gave me the willies. Mr. Bowditch found it easier to get around on his crutches and began giving himself his own sponge downs, which he called horse baths. I never had another occasion to wipe his bottom because there was never another accident on the way to the jigs. We watched old movies on my laptop, everything from West Side Story to The Manchurian Candidate, which we both loved. Mr. Bowditch talked about getting a new TV, which seemed a sure sign to me that he was re-engaging with life. But changed his mind when I told him it meant having either cable installation or a satellite dish, so not re-engaging all that much. I came in at 6 every morning, and with no baseball practice or games, Coach Harkness gave me the stink eye every time we passed in the hall. I got back to 1 Sycamore most afternoons by 3. I did chores, mostly house cleaning, which I didn't mind. The floors upstairs were filthy, especially the third floor. When I suggested cleaning the gutters, Mr. Bowditch stared at me as if I were insane and told me to hire someone to do it. So Sentry Home Repair came, and once the gutters were cleaned to Mr. Bowditch's satisfaction, he watched from the back porch, hunched over his crutches with his PJ bottoms flapping round the fixator. He told me to engage them to repair the roof. When Mr. Bowditch saw the estimate on that, he ordered me to dicker with them. "Play the poor old man card," he said. I dickered and got them down 20%. The home repair guys also put in a front porch ramp, which neither Mr. Bowditch nor Radar ever used. She was afraid of it, and offered to fix the crazily tilted paving stones leading from the gate to the porch. I refused that offer and did it myself. I also replaced the warped and splintered front and back porch steps with the help of several DIY YouTube vids. There was a busy cleanup fix-up spring and summer on top of Sycamore Street Hill. Mrs. Richland had lots to watch, and what she did. In early July, Mr. Bowditch went back to the hospital to have the external fixator removed, weeks ahead of Melissa's most optimistic estimates. When she told him how proud of him she was and hugged him, the old guy was for once at loss for words. My father came up on Sunday afternoons at Mr. Bowditch's invitation, unprompted by me, and we played 3-man gin rummy, which Mr. Bowditch usually won. On weekdays, I fixed him something to eat, went down the hill for dinner with my dad, then came back to Mr. Bowditch's house to wash up his few dishes. walk radar, and watch movies with him. Sometimes we had popcorn. Once the fixator was off, I no longer had to do pin care, but I had to keep the healing holes clean where the pins had gone in. I exercised his ankles with big red rubber bands and made him to do leg bends. Those were good weeks, at least mostly. Not everything was good. There were shorter walks for Radar before she began to limp and turn for home. She had more and more trouble getting up the porch steps. Once Mr. Bowditch saw me carrying her and told me not to. Not until she can't do it for herself, he said. Then sometimes there were dots of blood on the rim of the toilet bowl after Mr. Bowditch urinated, which took him longer and longer to do. "Come on, you useless thing. Make some water," I heard him once say through the closed door. Whatever the Linpaza was supposed to do, it wasn't doing so well. I tried to talk to him about it, asked him why he was working so hard to get on his feet, if he was going to give what was really wrong with him, my euphemism, free rein, and he told me to mind my beeswax. In the end, it wasn't cancer that got him. It was a heart attack. Except, not really. It was the goddamn shed.